Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will, and I got my co-host over here, the Greeze. Say hello, Greeze.
Hey, sweet baby girl.
Is that what you're calling me? That's what I call you.
I know. I just, when you flip the script, you flip the script.
Yeah, flip it on them.
Yeah, you gotta turn it upside down.
Yeah.
Play a little bit. Play your guitar backwards. Play left hand or right-handed guitar left-handed,
like Jimi Hendrix,
like the Hendrix.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to see him live?
No, neither did you.
That's a shame.
We are
we ain't that old, Daniel.
Live here on a Monday night, and we are going to do some fun stuff tonight. But if you are watching us live at the moment that we are live here on YouTube, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. Maybe share it with your friends that may be interested in this kind of content. But we have an
announcement on the front.
Tonight. Yeah,
announcement on the front.
So
we were going to do a fundraiser for Melissa this week, and she actually needed us to pause that as she's trying to work out exactly kind of what they're doing. So I know some of you were prepared to be a part of that and have offered up some really great.
Yeah, the people really coming
prizes
together to support that. Like it's going to be successful, and when we do it, but we are, we put that on pause for this week, and we'll let you know. We'll like roll it out. We won't just spring it upon people.
Right.
We'll let them know.
We didn't poorly plan.
No. We were ready to go. We were in conversation.
Yeah, we were like talking with her on Tuesday of last week.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that.
So here we are, starting off a new week with a new friend, actually. So we are going to be drinking this W.H. McBrayer whiskey, and we talked to Bill McBrayer today on the phone.
I wonder if his first name's William.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it is.
Well, but yours is, and you don't.
Right.
You're not Bill.
But my dad is. My dad's Bill.
Is his real name William?
Yes.
I bet his name is William.
Yes. Like I said, going out on a limb.
You could just be named Bill.
Very few people are.
Really?
Yeah. That's like naming someone just straight up Sam. Like that's not very common.
Right.
Or Matt.
Right.
Just straight up Matt. Not as common.
Yeah, but I don't understand the
naming
whole
your kid Greeze.
Will is short for William. I don't know why. I don't know where Bill came. You're just shooting. You're just like, this is going nowhere.
Yeah. We had 2 good weeks, folks.
We had a couple but no, that's a good question though.
Is your name William?
I just like to know people's real name just in case I have to file like, some sort of like
litigation.
Sure. I was going to say lawsuit, but I don't necessarily know if it's a lawsuit.
So this brand is it's a legacy brand. So WH, and I believe it's William Harrison McBrayer, we learned a lot about him today. We got on the phone with Bill, talked a lot about it, and learned a lot. And his legacy, the judge.
He was a daggum judge.
It's rich in bourbon history. And for me, I was like geeking out the whole time on the phone because we're learning like his connection with like E.H. Taylor, his connection with C.M. Deadman, and his connection with like W.B. Saffel, like all these names that if you've been in bourbon for any amount of time, you've come to know. This guy had a connection to.
And this guy got high five by Colonel Taylor.
Yeah, I'm certain of it. I think they invented the high five.
Or probably the double high five.
Yeah, both of them. The high 10.
Yeah,
what they call
you
it.
don't want to say it. You just say double high five.
No,
you don't
double
want to
high
go full
five
10.
is like a boom, boom. Double high five goes boom, boom. High 10, boom. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Well, what's the one where you do
So this is
and then you wrap
for the
around?
audio audience.
Yeah.
Let's do. This is a high 10.
Okay.
And then this is a high five, double high five. See what I mean?
That's stupid.
Well, I didn't make the rules. That was Mr. McBrayer.
Sounds like you literally just made
No, McBrayer made it up.
But dude, how bad would it be to literally just be like to have Colonel Taylor tell you this is some of the best whiskey I've had or whatever. So it was like a certain age, I think, or something. But.
There was a long storied history. It's also really cool because they knew of like family connections but doing like research, like genealogy projects and things are really how they learned more about W.H. McBrayer. And it turns out that he was the uncle of C.M. Deadman,
right? Who is
Dixon's great grandfather.
3 greats
of Kentucky Owl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And they McBrayer adopted Deadman.
Right.
Because he was orphaned.
Right.
And so and even gifted him land and a distillery to start Kentucky Owl. So
it's like for his daggone birthday.
Without W.H. McBrayer, there would be no Kentucky Owl. But there's also a history component, and you can see this on the website. It's McBrayerLegacySpirits.com, I believe. I should probably have memorized that.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and tell you something, Will.
Well, I was saying something, and you did that thing you do.
Well, this doesn't exist without McBrayer.
Right. But one of the cool things was there was a note, a letter they found. Veach from like the historian. I think it's Michael Veach. Why are you looking at me like that?
I've never heard that name before.
It's because you don't give a crap about bourbon. So
you're like, life's a Veach.
Yeah. So he had he's like one of the most well-known bourbon historians, and he doing archival work found this letter that William H. McBrayer had sent to E.H. Taylor, and he was trying to sell some of his whiskey stock to E.H. Taylor to be able to cover a federal tax bill. And on the back side of this letter, it had the mash bill that he was using. So there was some questions whether or not the mash bill was supposed to be on there, or if he just grabbed a scrap piece of paper and wrote out this note. But they have images up at their website. If you go to their like blog section, it's really cool. Like the way they've set out the blogs of their history, the history of the letter and stuff. That it's really, really well put together. But it's high corn. This letter, it's and I can pull up the mash bill because it's on.
It's like high 80s corn.
Yeah, it's
like 5% barley,
corn
5%
and low rye,
rye,
low barley.
Yeah.
Like it's low on the flavoring grain and the malted barley. But it's super. Let's see. Here it is. They also did low barrel entry proof, which is
105
cool.
proof.
105. So the cask strength that we're going to be drinking is 103 proof.
Yeah.
So
he said there was like barrels like 103, 107. So it didn't vary that much, but it's also about 5 years.
So we're going to get to try tonight. This is batch 1. So that he said he started working on this project about 8 years ago. They contract distilled the family recipe, and they used a heirloom grain. I think it's called Bloody Butcher corn.
Yeah. I want to interject here. In a world where there's so many people cutting corners, like these people didn't buy stock and sit on it and age it up and then just put it in a bottle and then release it. Like these guys are utilizing. So they went to Wilderness Trail, which is right just south of Beaumont Inn, by the way. Really close.
Right, in Danville.
Yeah. And so they took that mash bill, gave it to Wilderness Trail. Wilderness Trail did that mash bill with the blood corn or whatever it is.
The Bloody Butcher corn, which is it's like an heirloom grain, and that's a local variety, and it has like bright red kernels as well, so that's why they call it that. But the mash bill itself is 88.4% corn, 5.8% rye, and 5.8% malted barley. And so they recreated this. They used the family recipe that they'd found through the historical research, and then they did low barrel entry proof. They did all these things to try to kind of pay tribute and have a legacy whiskey that they're making, instead of, like you said, just buying some stock, throwing the label on it, paying tribute to McBrayer, and moving on. They really wanted to do it right. And so that first run was only 10 barrels, because that was like the minimum they could do. And they're like, look, we want to kind of try this out. We want to see if it's good.
We ain't got no mayonnaise.
And so that he did a 10-barrel run. And then this first batch that we're going to get to try tonight, it was released in April. There's about 1,000 bottles or so, a little bit over 1,000 bottles released of it. And it went to you can sign up to be a part of their legacy club, which just alerts you early. And they sold it all out through that. So it didn't even hit retail. Second batch is supposed to hit next April. But so this first batch was just 5 of those barrels. Right. And a cool thing we learned today, and this kind of goes back to the episode we did a couple weeks ago with Dixon, when we found out he had done some, or was going to be doing some work with the William Tarr brand, is that he has become friends with Bill and friendly with Bill. And they took the samples from the 10 barrels and they went and hung out with Dixon and were able to hey, we're going to look at these. This is the stock that we have. These are the 10 we have. And then with Dixon, they blended the best barrels together. So,
well, fun fact about that.
This W.H. McBrayer batch 1 has been touched by the hands of guru himself.
The hands of Dixon.
Yeah.
A fun fact about that is so when they first brought the 10 barrels, they basically took the top 5 and then the lower 5, blended the top 5 together, blended the lower 5 together. The top 5 tasted better, obviously, than the lower 5. But then Dixon was like, hang on a second. And he had a bunch of notes, and he starts grabbing other stuff from the bottom 5 and kind of adding it in or whatever. It's like, man, I just kind of want this a little more sweet and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, apparently he just crushed the blend.
Yeah.
Like a daggum boss.
That's what we've got with this. They still have those other 5, and then they ramped up their next distilling run. They did more than double that. Then the next distilling run, they've done more, and they are continuing to ramp up with this special mash bill with the barrel entry proof, and they're aging this stock up.
And I think it was this past year they did 200 barrels.
They're either looking to get there or soon. That either has happened or they will be there soon.
It takes 40 acres of the bloody butcher corn
to make 200 barrels. So it's
sound good.
They said the yield of the corn, I mean, when you have grains that aren't homogenized, like Monsanto corn, like standardized corn, the kernels can be different. They can grind differently. You can get different ways that you get yield from it. And it takes 40 acres to get enough grain to make that much mash to distill into 200 barrels. So we learned a lot from our conversation.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long of. I mean, it was like 15 minutes, and I was like
about 20 minutes. Yeah, it was good.
Okay,
yeah. I mean, but it was. Bill's the kind of guy I already know
who you want to party with.
You can just hang out with and
party.
You're gonna learn. Like, he's gonna keep telling you stories,
right,
while you're drinking whiskey, and he's our people. Like, that's our people right there.
Yeah.
And it just so happens also from my mini collecting days, there were 3 brands. There was McBrayer, then there's Old McBrayer, there's W.H. McBrayer, Old McBrayer,
and then Cedar
Hollow. We should really write these things down.
Cedar Creek. It was like the biggest brand of all time, and
it was one of the biggest in the world at the time.
At the time, the 1800s.
It's on here.
How do you get the biggest brand in the world?
I don't know. I left my notebook.
We should ask Chris Fletcher.
Cedar Brook.
I was close,
but it had his name on it as well. But I have an Old McBrayer brand Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey this is from 1936.
Do we think that's refilled?
No, this one I do not believe because of the type of cap. So this is pretty cool. I did research when I had this and actually conversed with them when I noticed them talking about their launch, that I had this bottle. And so it's from about 1936 based off the tax strip. It's a Wisconsin tax strip. So that's kind of cool. But this is a 3-year-old mini bottle of Old McBrayer. So pretty cool.
Do you think, and that's probably not the same mash bill because that's a whole nother.
Yeah, I doubted it at that point. But because it wasn't even the same at that point. National Distillers owned the brand, so it wasn't
right.
It wasn't even.
I mean, National Distillers though, they knew what they were doing though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like, look at that old timey type cap. Even like, look how it's sealed. Like, it's not even a screw tab or something. It's like a weird looking press top.
It might just pop off.
Yeah, that's why I'm be careful touching it with your grubby hands, Grease.
1/9/16 of a cent.
It was the tax paid on it per a certain amount of.
So you paid like 2 cents for this.
Not for the whiskey.
Well, that's what it said.
No, that's the tax on it.
Well, dadgum.
That's what I literally just said.
That's a lot of tax.
So it's 1 9/16 cents for 1/64 of a gallon.
And was Jimmy Carter president then?
No, not 1936.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think we do want to drink it.
Oh,
there's some sludge.
There's some. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna drink it anyway.
Just noticed that. Looks like a Charlotte's Web in there.
Dadgummit, Charlotte.
Yeah, so we're not drinking that.
Yeah. Dude, I want to drink. I'm giddy about. Oh, hang on. Let's talk about 2 seconds real quick.
Yeah, no, we got time.
Dixon.
We talked about that.
I know, but he didn't mention this.
No,
and
didn't.
he's got this guy's like picture in his tasting room.
Right.
So he was familiar of this, right? Do you think so?
Yeah.
At some point he read that C.M. Dedman was adopted by his uncle,
right,
Judge McBrayer.
Yeah. So
he had that picture in his daggum tasting room, and then Bill didn't even know. Bill didn't even know who Dixon was.
Yeah, they ended up he learned about Kentucky Owl from his research,
right?
Not necessarily from
Bill didn't even know he was like this cool. Like
they learned when Bill started getting into the whiskey world. People were like, "Oh, it sounds similar to like what Dixon's doing." And he's like, "What do you mean, like Kentucky Owl?" He's like, "Oh, I like know about that from my research." He's like, "Oh, you got to meet him."
Right.
So
I got to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
meet this guy.
You should meet this guy. You should meet him. 1936.
No, it wasn't 1936.
I don't know. I thought
that was but not this conversation.
Well, I just went back 5 minutes.
That's
you know how I do that.
No, I don't.
All right, you ready to drink this? I just want to casually sip.
So that we've not had this before. They sent us these samples. We're very, very thankful that they sent us to it. Also, it's cool. Bill and his father, who's also Bill, do this together.
Oh yeah.
The Bill we spoke to was the younger Bill.
Right.
I think he's the fourth.
Well, he sounded young.
Well, he had a good voice.
He does.
Yeah. But he's
got that like I partied hard.
Kind of went through
voice,
this.
You know what I mean?
This project with his dad. So I think that's another cool touch point is that it's become a family business. So cheers to the McBrayers.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
caramel, like very caramel.
I don't know what I'm getting.
Now this is cast strength at 103 proof. Non-chill filtered.
I'm getting marshmallows.
Yeah.
Like the open bag of marshmallows.
Yeah.
You just kind of sniffing that.
Yeah, it is a lot of sweetness from the corn. I think
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the daggum corn.
It's high corn, 88.4.
You're high corn.
I am. Oh, I almost get a root beer nose to it. Smell it again. Like cream soda or root beer.
Taste it and tell me you don't got root beer.
Okay.
That's root beer. That's the
Oh yeah.
That's the most That's the most concrete note
Yeah.
I've ever gotten in whiskey.
Yeah.
My wife actually might.
Oh, that's good.
My wife actually might drink this.
Man,
she's freaking.
it's like so there's the Highwire distillery out of Charleston does like the Jimmy Red corn, which is another heirloom grain. Other heirloom corn really, and their profile of just their straight bourbon is so different because of the type of corn they're using. The corn itself lends a different flavor to it. I feel like that is really what we're experiencing here, is because it's a heirloom grain corn and it's such a heavy corn mash bill. Not spicy at all because of the low rye, but I mean, it's got a good flavor.
Yeah.
103 proof, doesn't drink as hot as I thought for like an early drink in the evening. I mean, it's very pleasant. Root beer, like you said, with that marshmallow nose, like it's almost like a root beer float, right?
Well,
Because you get the
so
creamy vanilla, and then you get
I didn't want to offend Bill in saying that this in a float.
It's not offensive. We'll throw whiskey in anything,
right? I'm just saying, like, instead of root beer, maybe you do like tonic water or something. I don't know, to get the fizz.
Tonic water? You mean just soda water?
Yeah.
You don't want tonic. That'd have the quinine. It'd be bitter.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, soda water. The ones with the bubbles in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put that in there with a little ice cream. Dude, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Did we ask him how much this was?
No, it's one thing we didn't ask.
Well, daggum.
We should have asked. But he is going to be putting out...
Bill, if you're watching, text me the SRP on this bad boy.
I know he's going to be bringing out the other brands as well. Like he's going to do an Old McBrayer, and he's planning on doing a Cedar Brook as well. So he's working in all those heritage brands of his family into their company. And I mean, honestly, their branding's great. Even their merch, like their hat has a kind of a monogram on it that's really cool. It's simple, it's classy, but their website, just the blog posts themselves, are very fun to read. Like there's their story, and it's like broken up into chapters of like how they learned about it, them getting involved in it, them starting the process, and then even the blog post about the letter and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to frequenting their website just to kind of learn more in the way that they're posting it as well. It's pretty good. But this one's gone. This batch 1.
Yeah.
Batch 2 will be next year, and we'll have some older stock in it. Like as they go, they're laying down barrels, but they'll slowly incorporate them into batches, and the 5 that they didn't use will be used in the next batch. So it's at least a year older.
Yeah. So breaking news.
Okay.
From William. He did say, yes, my name is William.
Nice. He's watching.
He is watching.
Appreciate you.
And collector's edition serial numbered box. They're $100 each, and they sold out in 3 days.
Good for them.
Right. Because that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
That's your first thing that you put out. It's expensive.
Right.
You don't have much of it, which I completely understand.
Yeah, I mean, it was 5 barrels in the blend, and so you're
looking at 1,000 bottles.
Right. So that, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that you got to have some working capital going forward to continue on. But on top of that, I feel like there's a difference between someone who contract distills a specific mash bill with a specific grain, with all, like, those are costs that are not cheap, because it's not like they just went to a distillery and said a barrel broker and said, just give me barrels at the cheapest rate I can get,
that are already 5 years old,
or that they went to a contract distiller and said, just give me one of your popular mash bills that you've got good stock of, you know, like that's still not proprietary, but like maybe a lot of distilleries, like even Bardstown Bourbon Company and stuff, they do that contract distilling that you can probably get it maybe a little bit more cost effective if you're like regular corn, whatever your 70, 20, 10 mash bill is, or, but because there were precise measurements, because it was a lower run, they did it on a smaller still. Those are all factors that are expensive. So for a inaugural release, and it looks beautiful, the packaging's good.
Yeah.
$100, don't even bat an eye
And dude,
at it.
there's a freaking story and a half.
Right.
Like he was talking to us for 20 minutes. We could have gone another 30 easily.
Like I said, it was
He had all these stories.
Has great stories. He's easy to talk to. I would have loved to spend an afternoon drinking whiskey with him, letting him talk, because he's a wealth of knowledge, is passionate about it, clearly passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a good hang.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm really happy with this. I love the nose. It's definitely unique. And I love the way I also love that the nose and the palate complement each other.
Mm-hmm. Bill, if you allow in the future for a custom blend, call us. He's got my number.
I know. You've been texting with him.
Well, I call him Bill on my phone. Should I change it to William?
No. I mean, he signs his name, Bill.
That's not signed. That's printed.
Okay.
But sure. Whatever. Yeah. He did send us this really nice postcard with his great something.
It's a stately beard as well.
He's a family member.
Right.
So yeah. Oh yeah. So he gets to say
that beard.
A family bourbon, which it is.
No, and it's cool. And not only is it a family legacy, but it's also a family bourbon currently, because it's a family project, right? So I love it. I'm all in.
Dude, how often do you think Daddy Bill, Big Daddy Bill? Because I know Bill has kids, according to his Facebook profile page.
Right.
His dad, Bill.
Right.
Who he's in business with.
Right.
Like you and I, we see each other a lot. They probably see each other a lot. How much do you think that they fight? And who wins?
Oh, his father wins.
Oh, 100%. Have you seen that hair?
Yeah.
Like that is the most pristine hair I've ever seen, and it's like perfectly even colored.
Yeah.
Like this kind of like silver white.
Uh-huh.
God, it's pretty.
I want to be him.
Yeah, Big Daddy Bill. All I wanted, you know what? If it wasn't weird, I'd want to put my hands through his hair.
Well, most things you want to do are weird,
right?
So you have to refrain. But I get you.
Right.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just wouldn't have voiced it.
I'm still working on you,
Greeze.
Because when that hair,
not in public.
Well, yeah, when that hair gets going. There's only one thing you want to do.
Everyone should check out, though, McBrayer LegacySpirits.com. That's McBrayer LegacySpirits.com, and join the Legacy Club, because that's how they're going to release batch 2 first as well. And if it goes like batch 1, which I have no reason to believe why it would not, it's going to sell out through the Legacy Club. But that's how you can be alerted by it.
Probably
you can
sign up.
And we talked with Bill. We're like, hey, we'd love to, see some representation in some way at Whiskey Weekend, even if it's just like a chat or whatever. But I mean,
something.
He's our people. Like that was we learned that very quickly on that phone call, that it's like, okay, yeah, you're doing this for the reason we love people that do this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to add a date at Whiskey Weekend.
Yeah,
like legit.
It's gonna be Whiskey Week.
Yeah, let's just
soon.
Don't even play with my emotions.
I'm gonna play with your emotions, but we gotta, one step at a time, brother bear.
If you tell me to make it a week, Will,
I didn't tell you to make it a week.
I'm pretty sure you told me to make it a week.
No, you heard it
wrong. And I'm into it.
No, I'm taking one of these.
Yeah,
I'm taking this with me.
So, oh yeah. You can. I want him to sign it.
Oh yeah.
To have the McBrayer name on there.
Yeah. No, that's super cool.
I know.
I'm really happy with this. This is a fun.
Oh, I am too. Can you imagine?
Fun body of the show tonight,
dude. Joker was older than us. Right now, when he was doing research on his family and found out that in his family there's this badass distiller who had the biggest brand in whiskey, and all of these bigger brands and ties to bigger brands.
Yeah.
Legit. Colonel Taylor bought the distillery off of him. How do you
certain about that?
I mean, that's what I read.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know about words, but
I'm just messing with you.
I'm pretty sure. No, and he was like, "Holy crap! Like in my family, there's this really good brand." And then he checks, and there's no trademark on that brand anymore.
Right.
So he's like, "I'm going to go get that trademark,
And I'm going to make whiskey.
and I'm going to make whiskey." He did say he called his wife and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm getting in the whiskey business." As you do.
Right.
You know what the funny thing was during the conversation is he said he went to Wilderness Trail and asked if he could do 1 barrel.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what?
What's
awesome. No, what's awesome is that, which first of all, this is why he's infinitely a better negotiator than you.
Oh,
because he walks up, be like, "Can you just do a barrel of this and we can see how it is?" And they're like, "No, we can do 10." You would go and be like, "Can we do 100 barrels? I don't know how we'll pay for it." Like that would be your lead offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm showing the difference here.
Yeah.
I love it. They
my heart's too big.
They got into bourbon because they knew they wanted to keep the family legacy alive. And when they learned about it, it was like mind blowing. Right.
Mhm.
But it was like, well, now we got to figure out how to get in the whiskey business.
Right.
Like it wasn't like someone that has been working their entire career in the liquor business, the spirits business, and discovers this awesome link to the past and is like, okay, now it's time to branch off on my own. It's like, hey, this sounds pretty great. And we've got the recipe. Let's go do this.
Right.
It'd be almost like if you discovered like a peach cobbler from eons ago in your family and you opened up like Greaze's peach cobbler stand. You're like, I just got to keep great Mama Greaze's name alive.
Yeah. Is that the analogy?
I don't know. I was trying to bait you there in some way. It didn't work though.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's fine. You were looking at me because part of you is like,
if you want to bait me, you talk about this daggum tax.
I was like, if Greeze is gonna sit there and think to himself, well, I mean, maybe that peach cobbler recipe does exist.
It might.
If you end up starting the cobbler cast, can I at least just partake in some of the cobbler?
It's me, Cody Breeding, and Dustin Pede.
I know. Can I partake in some of the cobbler? Can I go to cobbler weekend?
You can pop on as a correspondent when we're talking about Birmingham.
Okay.
Just to pop in there, just to be our resource.
Cody, speaking of Cody, I could go for some good peach cobbler.
See, I knew it. I was like, if anybody's going to love peach cobbler, it's going to be daggum Dustin Pede, Cody Breeding.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Bill.
Oh yeah. No. This was a treat for us.
I actually kind of knew it was going to be good in my head.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal.
There was no he doesn't have like a ton of capital. That's why he did so few barrels. He did it right.
My always reservations of going live with something we've never tried before.
Right.
Is that it's like, what if we don't like it?
We would have found something good to say.
Right. Oh, for sure. But it's
not like a dadgum.
But here's
marshmallow
the problem.
Root beer
float. We're live on YouTube, and so our faces will betray our feelings, and that's happened before when we've tried things that we weren't a big fan of, and we're like, "Oh, it's so
good,
tiny."
Yeah, but it's like pencil shaving.
So, but that's always the risk, and that's why a lot of times we except for things that are the 15. But if there's like a touch point with someone, we're going to try it first a lot of times to make sure we want to put ourselves out there on record,
There's a touch point?
Yeah, like we had a great conversation with Bill. We like Bill. And so we wouldn't necessarily want to go live and not try something. But that's exactly what we did because we were like, you know what? It's not going to be bad. It's going to be great. And that's how I feel about it. So,
I mean,
you know exactly what I'm saying.
This is solid.
Yeah, no, it's solid. I was very pleased.
5-year-old whiskey for $100. Really small batch. First batch.
Good.
I feel like that's a fair price.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why I'm saying that. Here's the reason. Because if they are going to make more and they're going to succeed, then they have to make money.
Right.
Like he doesn't have daggum,
this isn't
Sazerac money behind
this
him.
isn't Sazerac or Diageo rolling out a new brand.
Right.
Yeah. But it is a very specific recipe that's unique.
Yeah.
Has a very specific grain that's unique. And it's a barrel entry proof, like all the factors. It's not just run of the mill whiskey. It is something very different. And a lot of times with brands, even brands that resurrect old trademarks, don't always do something like this. They may resurrect a trademark and lean on the story, but not have anything different other than MGP or Heaven Hill or Barton sourced whiskey, right? This is something very different. And that's that goes a long way for me too. When you put yourself out there, not only in a
he put himself out there, but
your family out there, but it's you put yourself out there knowing, like, I mean, I have to do a run of barrels and age it and make sure it's good.
Right.
And
wait a while.
Right. Exactly. and that's what he was talking about. Like he was pulling samples frequently, tasting it and making sure that, like, okay, the the new make tastes pretty good. Like this corn didn't just completely ruin it. Right. But,
right.
Okay. Now we've got the filled barrels. Now let's see what happens when it starts interacting with the oak. And I mean, it's a gamble. That's going to be the most nerve-wracking 4 years.
They tried it after a year, and someone was like, "This is the best 1 year of whiskey I've ever had."
Right?
You know? I mean, I kind of want to taste the 1 year. If I'm being honest, that's just me because I'm weird like that. But, dude, I'm excited about it. They did not cut any corners, like zero.
Right?
Like they didn't try to piecemeal it together in a warehouse. He actually thought about that. He thought about getting his own still in a warehouse, making it or whatever, and put it on there. But instead, he goes to Wilderness Trail and was like, "Hey, I need y'all," and they did. And then the heirloom corn. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'd probably say, "What corn do you have available, and is it cheap?"
Right.
Because I literally don't have money to do this.
Right.
But I just feel like I should.
I love it.
And I think, so if y'all are watching this, y'all need to sign up for the Legacy Club because y'all need to support this brand because
Hey, one of our wrenches put up McBrayer LegacySpirits.com as a comment for us. That'd be great. So people can go check it out. It was very generous of them to send us.
Type it out on there and post it so they got the spelling right. And all that and everything else also.
Why are you putting that on me?
What do you mean? Because you're literally sitting at the computer. Well,
no, I mean, like, I would rather them accidentally misspell it than me.
Well, you've got the cheat sheet in front of you, bro. Oh, man.
I hope I did that right.
Okay. So if any listener out there happened to be a part of that club prior to today and you were able to score a bottle, I am ISO this bottle.
Yeah. Also, though, Drew asked, do you think that he has any stock to make a 6 or 7 year bourbon in the next few years, or is it a 5-year limited release for the next few?
Batch 2, we know.
Well, no, it may not be as far as age statement rules, because it probably will have some younger stock that may have gotten there from the second run, but it also, we know 5 barrels are going to be. So he may not use all 5 of them. He may let some go a little bit longer and things. So I think that age statement, it's always a game, because sometimes you get you find a good 4-year barrel or something to put in there to give you volume, but it's not messing with the profile or anything. So the age statement's always going to be the youngest bourbon in the batch. But since it's such a small batch, it could have something that's a little bit older. And things, though, that because I think even Dixon used in some of the Kentucky Owls, maybe even had some younger rebarreled whiskey as a part of it. That it's not age stated, though, because it's the blend is the art, right? Like it's not just about the age. So
well, yeah, and playing with char levels and rebarreling and stuff like that
Right,
can
right,
really help
right.
too.
So there's a lot of things that go into that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Based off our conversation, it didn't sound like age stated. It would be a straight up like, okay, now this is a 7-year bourbon, because this isn't even.
He said for batch 2, typically around 4.5 to 5.5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's because one, they don't know what that's going to look like yet, because they're not at that.
You can't say that's what
but
it's
they're
going to be.
not at that point where they're picking which barrels are going in. You know,
Right.
like they have to wait till.
Right. I wonder if Dixon will
closer
do.
to first of the
Dixon,
year.
if you're watching, will you please do that again? Because this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, just go hang out with them.
What do you mean go hang out with him?
You know, go hang out with them.
I don't want Dixon to just hang out.
No, and then do the blending thing.
Yeah, do the whip whap.
Yeah. I mean, they knew the good whiskey going in, and then then a little tweak here, a little tweak
And
there.
you got to know Dixon loves that freaking story too.
Oh yeah.
It's like a long lost, like
they're cousins somewhere.
Essentially.
Yeah, they're cousins somewhere
Yeah.
down the line. So
Right.
All right, folks.
They're
All right.
like third cousin twice removed or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fine,
Let's go to the 15. I mean, I'm a buy on this.
Oh,
And
100%. I'm actually searching for it.
I look forward to batch 2 because I'm going to fight like tooth and nail to get that.
Yeah.
So it'd be great.
Well, I don't think we have to fight. I think we just have to sign up.
Well, no, I did. But I mean, we just told our audience to go sign up as well.
Well, I haven't signed up yet.
Well, I already did. I did while we were on the phone with him.
Did you get like a confirmation email?
I'm not telling you.
Dadgummit. Why would you do this to me?
Well, because I'm concerned that you may get my bottle. That typically happens.
I'm definitely trying your bottle.
So Bo Ranheim said, I joined too late and missed out on the first batch. Wanted you to say it was bad, is now I'm disappointed all over again.
Oh no, dude. Like I will pay
Sorry, bud.
I will pay somebody $200 right now for that bottle.
Greeze is doing a public ISO on that. So.
Yeah. Is that okay to do?
No, probably not. But
I mean, I'll trade you $200.
Andrew Bolin. I'm gonna go sign up right now so I get a bottle before Grease.
Andrew.
You want to go to the 15? It's time to go to the 15.
I love Andrew.
I know he's a good dude.
Yeah, but this is not
15.
nice.
It's time to go to the 15.
All right, we're gonna go to the 15.
Hit the music.
Bye.
All right, now it's time to pour up our 15 whiskey.
Well, we're not going anywhere. Oh, by the way, patrons, definitely doing after party tonight. Dude, I wonder how late Bill would stay up. I wonder if we could send him the link to the after party.
I don't know. Let's power through this real quick and do
Hey Bill, if you're watching and want to join us in an after party, it's just like an online like video chat thing.
All right,
I'll get you the info.
And we're back from the 15.
Some say we never left, Will.
All right, so
you old soul.
Yeah, we're doing something this evening. This is Old Soul, which we've had the regular Old Soul and we had the 15-year-old Soul on the show.
Yeah.
This
wasn't worth the price point.
The original.
The
no, I disagreed. I loved it.
I think it's been a while, but I think it was a bar for me.
Yeah, it was a buy for me. It was expensive, but it was a 15-year age stated cask strength, low proof cask strength bourbon. I loved it. Still do love it. But the original Old Soul, we got some of their small batch. It was fine. I was happy for them, but it wasn't fully what I was all about. And I think we were bar to pass on it just because it was kind of pricey. But our friends over at Red Dog Wine and Spirits here in Franklin, Tennessee, good friends of the show and have great barrel picks. They did a barrel pick of Old Soul.
This is actually the first barrel pick of this I've seen.
Yeah, me too. And it has a blue foil around the top, and on the top it had the state of Mississippi. So Old Soul is in Jackson, Mississippi. It is this is a high rye MGP mash bill. So it's distilled in Indiana, aged and bottled by Cathead Distillery in Jackson, Mississippi. It is 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley, and it is 109 proof.
Dude,
bottled.
I mean, based on those stats alone, I know this is going to be good.
So the barrel entry proof was 125, and then they proof it down to 109 for the release.
Why'd they prove it down?
I don't know.
Why'd they do that?
Because that's their thing. All the single barrels I've seen are 109 proof of it. So
all the single barrels,
but it is, I believe this is a 5-year, based off of my conversation with Lana over at Red Dog. It's a 5-year high rye MGP distilled by MGP and aged in Jackson, Mississippi.
All right. Before we get nasty, what's the SRP on this bad boy?
1 second. I'm trying to do the thing with it.
You're trying to do. All right, I'll look away.
It's such a white label that it's like, there we go. This was $59 retail. So 5-year bourbon, a little bit pricier, but if you think of like the 5-year old
Single barrel,
Scouts, old Scouts, they're 5-year MGP, probably about the same price range.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
it's in the pocket.
So personally, I have a little bit of bias because I like Mississippi. I like a bunch of cities in Mississippi. I want Mississippi to do well. They didn't repeal prohibition until 1966. So they're Mississippi's oldest distillery, but Cathead's not that old because the runway is very short for Mississippi. Right. So while the rest of the country is like
how much tax revenue did they miss out on for so many dadgum years?
A lot. So
like if they would have invested that into a Roth IRA,
golly, their roads would not be in the condition.
No, they wouldn't, man. Montgomery would not be a pit.
Well, Montgomery is in Alabama. So, Jackson is the capital of Mississippi, which is where
Biloxi
is also in Mississippi.
Yeah, okay.
But I always root for people that are doing not easy things in a state like Mississippi. Like it's not easy to be the first distillery in Mississippi. It's not easy to do things. Now they make Cathead vodka. They have some interesting things there. Obviously vodka, not our thing, but that's why I had their vodka. Their honeysuckle vodka actually is pretty good in a summer cocktail.
They've got like different flavors too. That's not Smirnoff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it actually tastes decent.
So my bias though is that I want them to succeed, right? Like to me, that's why I bought Old Soul, the small batch, as soon as it came out, because I wanted to support them. I think they're doing hard stuff in a state that is has a lot of great things to offer and needs people to be innovative and create jobs and create industry. And so personally, that's where my bias lies at something like this.
Yeah.
But I also know it. I mean, it's sometimes a tough thing. We just talked about someone who did a really tough thing, creating a heirloom family recipe and to bring it to fruition. This is a sourced distillate, aged there, which I mean, it gets hot. So you know that the temperature variations are a thing. But there's let's just taste it. Honestly, for me, I've already had that much of the bottle over the weekend. I got this on Friday, folks, and it is half gone.
The nose is slightly nutty to me a little bit.
Okay.
And spicy. Kind of like like candied almonds with like cinnamon like dusting on it.
Okay.
It's kind of what I'm getting. And the only reason I say that note is because I literally had candied almonds from Buc-ee's yesterday. And that's exactly what it is to me. Okay. Mouthfeel
great
is on great point. Like it's viscous, lingers, bold flavor punch on the front. My only thought initially, I mean, once you get past the initial hit of young, it progresses. This is complex.
It's not, and I think because it's the high rye mash bill, it really helps it. It doesn't have that aggressive corn flavor that you get from a lot of younger whiskeys. So
you get that note though up in your nostrils.
The 21% rye really helps it. here's the
young note is there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like-
it's not here. It's a little raw. It's a little raw.
That's
it's
a great way of saying
it's
it.
a little bit like Mississippi. It's a little bit raw, a little bit unrefined, but it's got a great spirit to it. You know?
I do.
It's not a bad thing. That's real. That's real talk. You hate me for that.
They're like an open wound down there.
Yeah. No. By the way.
Okay. So
Tarak is spitting some knowledge. He's like, there's no legal definition of cast strength, or am I imagining? That is true.
Yeah.
So this is technically I would assume they could call this a cast strength. It doesn't say it on here though. It doesn't say cast strength. It just says
I think a cast strength though, it's got to be straight out of the barrel.
Not legally.
Okay.
Not legally, because you think of like foolproof and things like that that I would just say what I meant Tarak was that it was finished product proof, which there are some things with labeling that can cause problems with. If there's a high variance.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful how you throw words on a bottle, because we're getting good at picking through the crap.
The Katie Turk said they're doing great stuff. I have a few picks from Old Soul. Good to know. Thank you. And I'm going to be looking for more. I'll be telling you that.
This is $60.
And then Tarak said there will be higher proof and cast strength picks down the road. Yeah, it was $60.
Yeah. I mean, that's a buy all day long. Okay. I have 3 huge pros. 1, the mouthfeel is ridiculous. My favorite part. The mid palate to finish is ridiculous. It's complex. You're moving through 3 different freaking flavors.
Yeah.
So quickly.
And for it being a high
rye,
holds
on.
It's sweet. It's still very sweet to me.
Oh, I love it. I get less spice on the palate than I do.
I think the rye just does a really good job cutting the youth out of it, which is good. That's what you want.
Can you say cutting the young? I didn't mean to say that.
Well, no, yeah, you can. No, you don't mean like
younglings.
Yeah, you don't mean like that, like Jedi.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about like Jedi slaughters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Lord knows that happened once. Yeah, now we got a copyright infringement going on.
Now I'll infringe the copyright.
I'm a big fan. I like this. I obviously bought it. I'm gonna go pick up a couple more from the store.
Yeah,
to make sure they don't go out.
I mean, this is a great pick from Red Dog.
Yeah.
Was Lana a part of this one?
She was. Yeah, this was actually one of the
Lena.
Is it Lena?
I think it's Lena.
Oh, I always say Lana.
I know, I do too.
That's unfortunate.
Well, you know what? We've been saying Tarak for literally 10 years.
Tarak,
right, because you want to say I got T-rocked.
Yeah.
You don't want to say, well, if we did say Tarek, we could say we got T-wrecked. Oh, that's kind of great. We're going to have to revisit that.
Yeah, we got T-wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna simmer on that one.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know how like when you're tired of your bologna sandwich, and you're like, I'm gonna cook this bologna. And you throw it on a skillet and it fries it or whatever, and you put it on a sandwich. You're like, daggone, that is so.
Better. I've been making for my daughter. She's going through that picky eater phase. Like she was never a picky eater, but all of a sudden she's all of a sudden a picky eater. So
my kids eat plain noodles and Chick-fil-A chicken.
They're like their father. So I have started to be creative. Instead of like doing a turkey sandwich, I'll be like, you want a quesadilla? And I'll just like throw it in a tortilla, throw some cheese on it, melt it, and give it to her. And she loves it. Well, then tonight we were doing it. And the first time she goes, is this a chicken quesadilla? I'm like, yes. And it's clearly hickory smoked turkey, like deli turkey. I'm like, of course. And then tonight she's eating it and she goes, I don't like this ham. And it's like, there's no ham in that. She goes, this is ham. It's like, no, trust me, that is not ham. And
I wouldn't.
She goes,
I wouldn't mind a hickory smoked ham.
And I go, you ate the whole dang thing, so
right. Well, I mean, yeah, because
like
she knows if she doesn't eat all of her food, she's not going to get a treat.
I made her a milkshake.
They bring all the boys to the yard?
No, I bet they did. You're talking about my 4-year-old.
I'm talking about you.
All right.
Bringing the ladies to the yard with your shake de la milk.
The shake of the milk.
That actually sounds worse.
Yeah.
Shake de la milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Shake of the milk.
Yeah, right. I don't think. I want you to shake that milk,
Did
baby.
you get that?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Dude, how weird are udders, by the way, speaking of milk?
Buy bar or pass this old soul.
That's a buy, dude. $60.
buy on it
I'm
as
a
well.
buy. The youngness note, if it lingered for any time past it does, I would probably say bar. But it's so fast. You get it, and then you kind of get it up in your senses up here in the old nose, but it's gone quick, and it's complex. It's fun.
So Jason Lagau on YouTube said, good to know there is an Old Soul cast strength pick at the liquor store down the road here in Michigan. 119 proof for $64. I will be picking up a bottle.
Dude,
that sounds great. Yeah, I would definitely do that if I were you.
Does it want to C plus S that? You know what I mean? I don't think we can publicly say that.
What are you doing?
Yeah. People don't even know what that means. Can you capture and save it?
Copy and paste. C plus P.
C plus P.
Yeah. Copy.
Yeah. Can you just copy and paste that?
That means cost plus parcel.
Can you
for our British friends?
Can you send that as an attachment to our email?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very pleased with this. Like I said, this damage was me. I got it on Friday.
Well, I mean, I did have a little bit to do it.
You will have no more.
That much.
I'm gonna go buy another couple of bottles though, because I like it, and I want to support them. I like the brand,
dude. I
feel like Old Soul speaks to me.
I really think that so we have a private event tomorrow that we're doing a tasting of, and we need to take this to that.
Yeah, let's do it. I think that'd be great.
I think maybe even anyway, we'll talk later. But Red Dog here in Franklin, Tennessee.
If you're in Tennessee or passing through, go to Red Dog and get one of these.
Right off of I-65.
The podcast sent you.
Like
I heard
right
about
off.
this on the podcast. I had to come get it. I really like it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure it's Lena. I know we've been saying it.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week on the podcast. Thank you to Bill McBrayer for sending us W.H. McBrayer bourbon whiskey. We are excited about what's coming out of that distillery and look forward to the future of them. That is awesome. Dave points out that is dark whiskey. And it really is.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. For 5 years.
It is super dark, actually. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with the climate because it's so swampy and hot in Jackson.
God, you're right. Now I will say this. I mean, it is $7.50 legally, but I mean, they always take, you know what I mean?
That Greeze
like look how far that thing goes in. All right.
Katie Turk says, I'd be happy to send some samples your way. What's a good way to connect? You can email me at will@thepodcast.com. That comes directly to me. Or you could send something to thepodcast@gmail.com. We both get that. Or Greeze@thepodcast.com. But that requires some.
Or find us on
phonics.
socials.
Yes, socials, whatever, at the podcast, wherever that. Or you can become a patron, patreon.com/thepodcast. You can send us direct messages there.
Yeah.
And that's also a great way to support us. We're going to go live for our after party here as soon as we're done. For those of you that are watching live, we'll be over there if you're a patron very shortly. If you have no clue what we're talking about because you're listening on the podcast feed, join Patreon. Subscribe to us on youtube.com/thepodcast. We go live. We bring some people on. We get a little bit looser after the show each week when we record this live on YouTube. So check that out at patreon.com/thepodcast. Follow all our social media and specifically follow @The Real Greeze on Instagram. And
there's some fake ones out there, so you got to be careful.
And we don't know Jack,
but we'll drink it. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I swear on my life, y'all need to find that daggum. If y'all got one of these, it's W.H. McBrayer batch 1 specifically. I will buy it. Let me know. Or if y'all find one, let me know. I'm going to throw some emails out.
I'm just reading things here.
I know, but I need to, while you read, I'm going to create another, I need to create another thing. I'm going to need you to not.
Hope I was
We have an
recording.
after party.
Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all.
We love y'all. Bye.